Hey everybody, my name is Corey Ortiz, and I'm a graduate student within the College of Professional Studies. This is my presentation, Feeling the Crunch, the Expectations of Crunch Time in the Video Game Industry. So recently I've heard a lot more about crunch time popping up in the video game industry. I've loved video games for a long time, but I have heard a lot more of this practice going on. Now, crunch time is extra, often unpaid hours employees have to undergo. Usually near the end of a project, hence the name crunch time, as they're kind of crunching in hours to get a product out the door. This survey specifically noted that only 2.5% of the respondees never had to experience crunch time. So the issue I want to look into is like, what exactly is going on here? Like, why is this happening? Is there anything that can be done to kind of combat this? So I looked into a specific case study, specifically known as the EA spouse case from 2004. Long story short, the spouse of an EA worker started an anonymous blog where she detailed all of the harsh conditions that her husband was working, long hours, just kind of a brutal schedule for him and his fellow employees. Lawsuits were opened up, which led to a settlement. And in their defense, EA used a piece of legislation that essentially defended their use of allowing for unpaid overtime hours. And despite this whole case, crunch time still goes on to this day. There's a famous case a few years back about the Anthem video game that EA made, which also had allegations of crunch peppered in there as well. So as noted, crunch time is still technically legal today. The question is, why does it happen? I mean, there could be a plethora of reasons. One of them is honestly just changing expectations, usually coming from higher up the board, that make adjustments without adjusting the timeline that's already been previously set. So employees are kind of forced to push in more hours to get these products out the door to meet expectations. Corporate culture is also a big one. Just to go with EA one more time, there's a big push on urgency, getting things out now within their culture and their action values. But of course, this is an industry-wide thing. It's sort of an expectation across the industry that crunch time is going to be a part of your job. And then just in general, just a lack of care for employees' well-being. It's all about getting the product out. And of course, with the rise of live service games, this problem is just getting worse and worse as there's less downtime essentially between projects. So what can be done here? Honestly, as long as it remains legal, it's kind of tough to combat. Continuing to make people aware, writing more articles, just coming to light about the practices that are going on. There are a lack of unions within the industry. There have been some efforts, but none have really blown up yet. Crunch time's a major issue within the video game industry, just one of many. But just kind of bringing more to light, getting more people to know what's going on might be able to help stem this rising issue. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.